Yeah, we're out here planting corn today. We're in this field where we cleared out last year. The field that we cleared out this year, that we did all the videos of the stumps and sticks, is on back in the corner from here. But yeah, this whole section here he's planting all as one field this year. I think it's going to be around 78 acres. And yeah, he started last evening with the headlands and hoping to get it done here today. Here's a good example of what it looks like going over a ridge. It's beautiful how this flex planter works. Yeah, you can see both ends are way down and the center's, yeah, where it needs to be. And we had a straight, rigid planter, it wouldn't do that, but yeah. And somebody asked us the other day on the other video we posted, or the last video we posted, if our planter is a 15-inch row planter, and I think I had mentioned another video about we set it up for twin row. We really like twin rows. We had a Great Plains planter before we got this one, and it was a twin row. And it plants the rows 8 inches apart, 2 rows 8 inches apart, centered on 30 inches. And we use the same planter for soybeans. We like that better than 15-inch rows because we can combine or chop anything we want to then. And I mean, we do plant certain hybrids for certain things. We do usually shell some dry shelled corn, so we do have different brands we plant. Some for silage and some more for dual purpose, some for dry shelled corn. But with twin rows, we can chop or combine anything we want to. So we really like that. But yeah, I just wanted to explain that a little more. Here's another good spot. You can really see how it flexes when it goes over an uneven spot, or a spot where there's a ridge. And it's got different down pressure settings on each row unit, or on each section, that keeps the pressure the same regardless of how it's gone over. Yeah, I just hit a groundhog hole. It has different, each section has its own down pressure setting, so it keeps the pressure right to keep the same pressure on each row unit. Yeah, I'm getting ready to head out to till. We have one more field to till here yet, and then we'll be done tilling for this spring, I think. But we're gonna till with our McCormick today. It's a McCormick 165. There's a pin on each side that locks it so it don't drift down and don't set the machine down on the ground when you're not using it. So always gotta, once we hook it up, we raise it up and pull them pins out. And yeah, right here you can see this one on this side. There's a little cotter pin that holds it in, and you just pull that out, and there's a little spot up top that you put it in to just hold it in, or it carries it when you're not using it. When we get done, we make sure it's raised the whole way up and then put them pins back in to lock it. So yeah, we're planting with our Puma tractor, Puma 200. So we're gonna till with the McCormick today. And it pulls this pretty good. We tilled with it for years before we got the bigger tractor, but the bigger one is a lot nicer. It's got a little better suspension and a little more horsepower. This tractor is a 165, but they did put a bigger chip in it for us. I think it dynoed at 185 horsepower. We're mowing Triticale here today. We're probably gonna have about 50 acres knocked down till the end of the day and finish up about 20 tomorrow probably. Yeah, it's just about perfect. It's right at the flag leaf stage. Every now and then you see a head sticking out. It's about waist high and yeah, really, really thick. So looks like it ought to make a pile of stuff. Yeah, we've been playing around with a couple different varieties of Triticale. I think I might have mentioned that in another video a little bit somewhere along the way, but yeah, years ago we used to just plant Triticale whatever we could find, but yeah, we're finding out more and more that the different varieties, there's a lot of different variation in the feed value and the tonnage and the maturity. Some of them matures earlier than others. Yeah, so what I'm mowing right now is a new kind that we tried this year. It's called Surge. It's supposed to be, well, the other thing with some of the different varieties, some of it is what they would call a smooth head or bearded, or the technical term for it would be awnless or have awns, like AWN, awns. And this would be an awnless or beardless or smooth head. We would typically just say bearded or smooth head. That's what we would say, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, it has a really wide leaf on it. It's supposed to make really high feed value feeds. This field here is right out from our buildings here. It's the closest to the farm, and it tends to get the most pen pack manure on it in the winter time. We're starting to fill the trench a little bit. Yeah, we had some left from last year that we pushed in. It was probably, I don't know, been at least 2 loads or so. Man, that was probably about enough for 2 weeks of feed at least. And man, this is gonna be beautiful stuff. But anyway, we pushed that all in farther, like took the rest of the plastic off. Let me start that over. Yeah, we had about enough left at the end for probably at least 2 weeks. It'd probably been at least 2 loads maybe. And we pushed that all, took the rest of the plastic off and pushed that all in, so it's layered in the bottom here. We used some of that along the wall. We put a piece of plastic along this wall and draped it out over the top, and then used some of the old Triticale the whole way up along the edge there to hold the plastic tight. On the outside we put square bales. We kind of push it up against the wall and then just set a couple of square bales out there to kind of hold it in place so if it gets breezy at all. But yeah, there's a truck backing in here to unload. Yeah, it's a good friend of mine from church. Him and his son have the custom chopping business. This is the dad. It's a dad and a son. John Ocker and Jason Ocker is their names. This is John in this truck. Jason usually runs the chopper, the son. Yeah, they just back in as far as they can, and these trucks have a net on the bottom. They only unload out the back. They're big old salvage trucks, and yeah, as soon as they start running, the gates have like a latch on them. The latch is on the chain that's on the net on the bottom, and they just pop open and it starts pushing out. Yeah, then when they pull forward, there's kind of like a lock that once they open, they can push that, it locks them open. But then when it gets empty, then they'll pull forward and release that lock that holds them open, and they go slamming shut. Pretty neat how they work. This is my view from the loader tractor. I got the bucket up a little higher than I normally do, just so you can get a good video. But yeah, my son pushes it up from that end, and I just keep driving back and forth and packing it down. And whenever it gets to the place where they're getting ahead of me a little bit, I'll just use my bucket to help drag some of it on back then too as he pushes it up. But being our trenches aren't any wider than they are, the higher you get, the quicker it'll flow out over the edge and make a big mess to try to get it cleaned up so it seals good along the walls. But so yeah, it almost works better if once we get too high, if I just kind of start dragging it on back. Keep talking about doing something different here with our trenches. Yeah, back when we milked around 220 or 40 cows, they were about the right size for what we need for the amount of forage, but now since we're pushing a number, or have bumped their numbers up a little bit, we're really running tight on forage space. And yeah, we've been putting up a couple ag bags of corn silage. I think last year we put up 3, and yeah, it's kind of a waste of money too if you can put them in the trench and either make the trench a little wider and make the, just need a little wider piece of plastic. You can save a lot of money if you don't have to worry with an ag bag. But, or even where we put our Triticale in, we'd like to start growing a little more Triticale, and we filled 2 trenches here. We have 2 of these that are 18 foot wide, and then what we chopped today of what we have land will probably fill this in pretty good, or it normally does. And then the second go around we do, that's a little bit older, it's about the same acreage, but it makes a lot more tonnage. We'll fill this second 18 foot wide trench, and then we'll put the overflow over here on another trench. We have 4 trenches total. We have one, we kind of call it the overflow trench, on the other side of our dry cow barn. And yeah, there's still an ag bag of corn silage over there along the one edge. It's just, that trench is just about empty. It had sorghum in it from last year. I think it's got maybe 4 feet, so it should be empty here in another 10 days or so till we chop the later stuff. But yeah, it's, so by saying all of that, if we could maybe move this one wall out a little farther and have a wider trench for some of our Triticale too, and probably if we make this trench and we're in a little wider, we have room, we can move this wall over at least 15-20 feet, and then put probably put our corn silage in this one and make it wider, and then put the Triticale. Yeah, the 3 we have now in a row, sorry, I should have said this earlier, the 3 we have now in a row, 2 of them are 18 and 1 of them's 24. So we'd have one that's 24 foot wide to put the corn silage, or some of the Triticale in, and then probably make this in close to 30 feet wide to put the corn silage in. It would really hold a lot more stuff. Yeah, I should mention this. Yesterday, this tractor that I'm in that we're packing with, this loader tractor, it's our Maxim 150, and we had a bird nest caught on fire kind of right between the turbo and the top of the engine there. And we had another tractor we were mowing with, the 140. We have a Maxim 140, or my son was, and he was having some issues with that, and we changed, there's 2 fuel filters on it, we changed to one, and they didn't have the other one. They had to order it, and it was supposed to be in by yesterday afternoon, but we didn't have it when we needed it. So we had switched tractors and we're mowing with this tractor, and he wasn't out there real long at all, and all of a sudden he called me. He's like, hey, I need a fire extinguisher, I got a fire out here. And man, we took off. Son and Willie and I both did, my older son and I both did, and till we got out there, he had got it out. He had a thermos with some water in it, but then we were there messing around and thought we had the whole thing cleaned up good. We should have just came in then and used the air compressor. I mean, we pulled everything out we could see and knocked everything down, but it wasn't very long at all, and he called again and he didn't have any water left, and he's like, hey, I got fire again. And oh, we had left the fire extinguisher out there with him, and here the one we left out there with him, we didn't even check it. It didn't have any charge left. And anyway, that was kind of a bum deal, so we headed out again with the other one and got it out with the fire extinguisher, and then he brought it in and used the air compressor and blew it all out. But so yeah, thankfully that could have turned out a lot worse. But this time of year around here, we have trouble with these crazy birds trying to build nests there in the engine of the tractor. It's kind of a mess. They have a merger that picks the rows up and puts them over on another row, and yeah, they have the one flipped up right now because he's doing the first row out around the outside row, but they can merge like 30 feet all into one row. So when it's really thick stuff, they just do 30 feet into one row, but when it's in thinner stuff, they can actually put 60 feet into one row. So anyhow, yeah, it works pretty slick.